Hello. Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Welcome to my stream. We will be reviewing the Live Together on Peacock. At every commercial, I'll go ahead and we'll talk about the show. Right now, I'm just going to play the first half. If there's music, I'm going to mute it. You'll see. But right now, we'll play it all the way through. But of course, and at each commercial, we'll pause the thing because of copyright, and we want to get the video taken down because of copyright. But right now, it's going to start. Welcome to my channel. My email's there. It's sonjjg25@gmail.com. We're going to review. You can make comments in the thing, and then we can talk about what has happened after each commercial. I'm actually going to be playing it on my phone, so it might look kind of like a smaller screen. And then after that, so just kind of bear with me. But yeah, so we're going to get started now. Give me 1 second. All right, let's see if we can play this now, and we'll get started. If you can see that, put it in the notes, in the comments. Can you see that small screen? Okay. In just a moment. Oh my gosh. Did anyone see what just happened? Or am I the only one that just saw? Could you guys hear? Okay. I got a couple things I want to say. Since we seen the first half of, I think it was about 11 minutes of it. Basically, in a nutshell, I don't like Huda's answers. She's giving us one word answers. She's acting like everything's okay. Everything's not okay. She needs to tell us what's going on. When they asked Huda her and how was Chris and her, she said fine. She's acting like everything's okay between her and Chris. And Chris was like, no, everything is not fine. He said it feels weird. But Huda is acting like she doesn't care. And he said, they asked him, what is it like between you and Huda? And she was like, it was fine. And then Chris said it's weird. And he said he doesn't respect what she said in some of the interviews or whatever the case may be. So that had him kind of a little, he done talking, right? He said his mom was happy that he doesn't talk to her. Basically, in a nutshell, his mom was happy that everything played out the way that it played out. And then he didn't like what she said in some of her interviews. Huda was given surface answers. Then she said that she can't talk about her relationships, but mind you, we seen her on some of these red carpets. So thank you. um mind you, Huda said that we seen Huda on some of the red carpets, and with some other guy. I couldn't remember what the name of that guy is, who she was with, but now she's telling us that Netflix told her she can't talk about her relationships. Now, where do they do that at? Somebody tell me where they do that at. Now she can't talk about her relationships because it's legal reasons. Is the guy that she's with now trying to sue her or something? Legal reasons? Is he getting death threats or whatever the case may be? I'm just, speculating and giving my opinion. But for her to say that she can't talk about her relationships, that is just so annoying. But anyway, we're going to get off of that. And then she also mentioned, which I didn't like, she said she didn't like, she saw all the hatred that Chris was getting on her FYP page, right? She didn't agree with all the hate that he was getting on the FYP page, but hopefully they say this in the Love Island reunion, that she didn't agree. Hopefully she says this, that she didn't agree that Shelly and Alandria is getting all the hate from her people. So hopefully she brings that up. If she doesn't, then we know that she's not taking responsibility. And my opinion is, I just want her to take responsibility for the way that she treated Jeremiah, which was not okay. I think a lot of people want her to take responsibility for the way that she made them all feel in the villa from the situation. But for her to say she didn't like the way that her people are treating Chris and being mean to him and giving him hate, she should have the same energy for Alandria and Shelly. That's all I have to say about Huda for now. And then Amaya and Brian are still together. That's what they said on the reunion. They are still together. He did say he did, he was passing around drinks to other women and things of that nature, but nothing happened with another woman. So he was passing drinks around, so forth and so on, but nothing happened. And Chris confirmed that nothing happened. And so Zach was there too, Zach Z. I can't remember what he looks like, but I don't think I have a picture of him up here. I don't think I have a picture. No, I don't see a picture. I didn't put a picture of Zach Z up here. But to make a long story short, Chris confirmed that Brian did not do anything with anyone, right? He didn't do anything with anyone. It was just him passing around drinks, giving drinks to other women. But it wasn't like he was, doing other stuff with people, right? And then Let's see here. But I like that Andy likes to speak up. The host, Andy, I really, really like him because he's from Real Housewives, Bravo, that section of the industry. I like the way that he actually speaks up and say, hey, well, we need you to give us more. Yes, nothing happened, but we need to give you need to give us more of what actually happened. When he was talking to Brian was like, yeah, nothing happened, but what actually happened? That's what we really, really need to know, right? And I like that Andy speaks up like that, to get, pull the things out of them that needs to be pulled out of them for the viewers, because we want to know the truth and nothing but the truth, right? Like Judge Judy, we need to know the truth. And then Pepe and Iris are exclusive. That's what they said. They are exclusive. And then they both were saying that dating looks different for the both of them, as far as exclusive goes. And then Andy was like, well, or I think Andy or the other lady, the host, I forget her name. I forget her name on time. Anyway, they said dating looks different for you both. And then they were like, well, do you want him to ask you to be your girlfriend? And then she looked at him. Pepe looked at him. I mean, Iris looked at Pepe and was like laughing and whatever the case may be. But anyway, um, but Iris met up with TJ and they just had a face-to-face convo. I get that they probably had a face-to-face combo, but I seen the video how they met up or whatever the case may be, and she was hugging him. I think, in my opinion, that Pepe and I mean not Pepe, TJ and Iris had a little bit more than just a hug from the video that I seen. That's just my opinion. Maybe they did some off stuff that we don't know about, but I think they had more than just a hug. But that's just my opinion from the video I seen. But anyway, and then TJ said he did get closure because he was in the back room with Shelly and all the rest of the people. He said he got closure. And then Hannah did get closure from Pepe. So they both got closure or whatever the case may be. And yeah, I really don't have nothing to say about Pepe and Iris because, I really don't, I'm not really into their relationship like that. But I wish them the best. If they're exclusive, they're exclusive. It is what it is. But I'm glad that Pepe got closure with Hannah and Iris had got closure with TJ. So that was kind of cool that they did get closure. So that was pretty much that has happened so far. So Huda and Chris kind of were talking first. They banned to them too. Chris just seems like he does not want to be there. They have Amaya, Papaya, and Brian sitting in between Chris and Huda. So everything looks awkward. And then Alandria was saying that Alandria said that Nick, a lot of people are putting pressure on them as far as their relationship goes. And so with their relationship, they want to take it as slow as they can. They don't want to, they don't want to be popping out with a baby by now and be married. They want to take it the way that they want to take it, slowly, right? That's what Alandria and Nick said, that people are trying to put too much pressure on them, but they're going to take it one day at a time and just get to know each other slowly. And I think we really need to do that these days because people be moving way too fast in relationships. And that's where we get, either people, you know, go crazy, crash out. What's the word? Crash out, or they call it the crash out. I'm old school, so they call it crash out or whatever. And when you move too fast, that's when you really don't really get to know the person and what you like about them and actually liking them as a person. And then you wind up married and so forth and so on. But anyway, so then Nick was like, yes, people are labeling them and they don't want to have too much pressure, but they're taking their time. and then they just want to travel a lot, and they want to complete their list. So, and then Andy asked them, what do you guys think about all the hate, um, things of that nature? They were like, we like our fans and things of that nature, but the Nicolandria fans, some of them are kind of going crazy or whatever, but people do love them. So that's the most important thing. And then he Andy asked Nick, has he talked to Sierra? And he said no, and I don't think I will talk to her. I think just how in my opinion, like TJ and what was it? TJ and who was it? Iris and TJ got closure. I think that, and then Hannah and Pepe got closure. I think that um, Nick should give Sierra a little bit of closure. If somebody want to comment and say what they think about that, I think he should give her a little bit of closure because she was intimate with him multiple times. And so when you're intimate with, the opposite sex, that can play on her emotions. And so she's crashing out online from all the intimate time she had with a beautiful man like Nick himself, a handsome man. And so I think that Nick should probably sit down and really think this through. Does anybody else think that in the comments? You can comment, let me know. In my opinion, I think he should give her some type of closure because she's seeing Olandria and Sierra is seeing Olandria and Nick go around the world, Greece, brand deals, and I think it's making Sierra feel a certain type of way. But Nick did say he won't be talking to her. We want to get that out the way. He won't be talking to her, and I do understand where he's coming from because he's trying to focus on Elandria. But some of the stuff he said he didn't agree with, like she did a couple. I think she did a couple posts or whatever he said she didn't like. I wrote down here. She's just trying, he was saying that slightly she was trying to get attention or whatever the case may be, and he didn't like that. Okay, so but anyway, I'm gonna stop yapping and I'm gonna go to the second half of the live and we'll continue to play. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and start the live again. Second portion of the live. Thanks for watching. Put in the notes if you can hear. Second portion of the live. Hopefully the camera doesn't look too bad. Second portion.
Hi, where are you? Hey, I can't make it. I have a board meeting.
That is a commercial. That is a commercial. We don't want to get copyright. Soon as it comes back on. It's a commercial right now. It's a commercial. Oh my God! I can't take it. Woo! Okay. Oh. Okay, so you guys didn't see? Okay, did you guys just see what happened when I updated the, could you not see the sound or, okay. Okay, okay, okay. So was I watching it the whole time? Or should I replay that? Okay, so did anyone see that, or could you not, did you anyone see Alandria, Nick, Shelly? Can you hear me? Just I don't know. Okay. Maybe I should replay that again. What do you guys, okay. Okay. Anyway, what just happened now was we had Clark and Taylor came out. Can you guys hear me? If you want to put in the notes or the comments, Clark and Taylor came out on the stage. Clark was looking pretty, very pretty. Can anyone hear me? Okay, let's see. Let me just make sure. Okay. Clark came out on the stage looking very pretty. She came with Taylor. She was giving queen energy, she said. Taylor was talking fast. I couldn't barely understand what he was saying. And then I will say one thing that they didn't bring up is how he's been treating Clark lately on social media. If somebody want to comment about how they feel, or have you seen any videos about the way Taylor has been treating Clark, they kind of brushed over that and didn't go into detail about how he's talking to her, treating her, um, on some of the lives. And then, yeah, so I didn't like that they didn't bring up that information. Yes, they do have a relationship. Yes, she rode a horse. Yes, she's been to Oklahoma and they are exclusive. I'm not sure if they are boyfriend and girlfriend yet. She didn't say that. But I will say that they need to go a little bit deeper with Clark and Taylor, because he's treating her horribly on these lives. If anyone noticed that? And then also they had I did notice that they did have a brand deal with Arby's, but who knows? No one's really checking for Clark and Taylor like that as much, because he's kind of gives little boy vibes. That's just what people have been saying because of the lives posts that they've been doing together, Clark and Taylor. He's been treating her horrible. But anyway, he's been saying that he want to take back her bags, her Birkin bags, or whatever bags he bought her. He was going to take them back because she said something he didn't like with his 5 dreads. And it was just too much for me. And then now they're on the reunion acting like they're all lovey-dovey. But anyway, if somebody can comment and say that they can hear me, that would be great. So I can just kind of know I'm just kind of yapping. Because we're going to go back and watch, we're going to watch the second portion of it too here. I'm just stopping in between sessions because it's a long thing here. But anyway, so then, so Clark and Taylor came out. So then, they was talking about that. And then Andy asks Taylor, will he apologize to Alandria? Will he apologize to Alandria? And he said, they were kind of asking first, like, was he kind of torn that he wasn't coupled up with Alandria? He said, yeah, he was a little torn a little bit between Clark and Alandria, but he was torn that he couldn't really be coupled up with her or something like that. But, there's certain things we didn't see on the, they only give us so much that we can see on the Love Island screen when they're in the villa, right? But he did mention, a lot of people backstage was trying to look for an apology as well as Andy. So we were waiting for an apology, and you know what he said? If this is an apology at all, he said, you my dog, right? You always been my dog. We've been tight. You my dog. Is that an apology? Can somebody put that in the comments and say, is that an apology? Because it ain't. You my dog. And that was a bland apology. He didn't apologize. In my opinion, he has a little bit of narcissist traits, but I mean, in the whole world, everybody has a little bit of something, right? He said, you my dog to Alandria, trying to apologize to her. And we always gonna be dogs. And he gave a bland apology to Alandria. And then Ace was like, are we supposed to clap? This is just crazy. They didn't clap. No, I mean, they was trying to clap, but he didn't specifically say, I'm sorry for leading you on, Alandria. Alandria, I'm sorry for leading you on. Taylor, if you see this, I'm sorry for leading you on, Alandria. That's what you could have said instead of saying, Alandria, we always been dogs. You my dog. That's what you say to your homeboys. Like, come on. Ooh, that's stressing me out. But anyway, he said, are you my dog? He tried to, that's how he apologized to Alandria, everyone. If you could put it in the comments, that's how he apologized to Alandria. What kind of mess was that? Are you my dog, right? I just can't get over it. I can't get over it. But anyway, so then after that was Clark and Taylor they were talking to. Then they asked Nick, how do you feel now being coupled up with Alandria, taking being friends with Taylor, but taking Taylor's ex? And then Alandria was like, nah, not the ex. Because he never was interested in her. He never was interested in her. Yes, we didn't see certain things like he was affectionate with her or things of that nature, but he was never interested in her. He was interested in Clark because of, you know, the underlying issue that he probably has with himself, maybe the skin tone or whatever the case may be. I don't really want to get into all that black and white skin colorism or anything like that, but I feel like he has some issues he needs to work out. Taylor does. So when they said, how does Nick feel about being friends with Taylor and he stole Alandria? He said he doesn't feel any type of way because Alandria is that girl. Let's go. Okay, anyway. So then they got to Shelly and Ace were next. So they was talking to Shelly and Ace, and Andy asks, how do you guys feel about being voted off so early? And Pepe and Iris had to stay, stayed over them. And then Shelly and Ace were like, we think that the viewers or whatever missed the plot. They missed the plot to the whole Love Island thing, which I think they did. Shelly and Ace deserved to be there. Pepe and Iris should have went home. They were a little boring to me. That's just my opinion. Pepe and Iris, they could have went home, and we could have saw something with Shelly and Ace, blossom into something bigger than what it is. But Shelly and Ace did say that everyone missed the plot of the show to make real connections, and I agree. They missed the plot to make real connections. And Ace said that everybody wanted to be friends. And I totally agree with that, because all we seen was people trying to be friends with each other and not offend. And Alandria kind of was doing that too. She wasn't being selfish for herself, especially the way that Taylor was playing in her face. I mean, they ain't show us everything, but he was playing in her face. And then Shelly, Andy asked Shelly and Ace, so when did y'all really meet? When did y'all really meet? And then social media, dig some posts, and they said that they met last year or in 2021, which is not true. And Shelly and Ace cleared that up and said, no, it was like in 2023 or something. What's this, 2025? Yeah, 2025. After COVID, everyone's just kind of in the blur. But anyway, this is 2025, but I think she said 2023 is when they kind of, saw each other at some club, and he was posting on her, or 2024, they were posting on each other's thing, or I guess he was liking a lot of her pictures. So that's why everybody was speculating, oh, did Shelly and Ace know each other before the show? And they did not. He just was liking some of her posts, and they never went beyond liking each other's posts, or they didn't go beyond that. Then everybody was trying to make Shelly, she didn't like that everybody was trying to make Ace a villain because some of the stuff he was just catching on too quick. And everybody was like, oh my God, he knows too much. And does he know a producer? Da, 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 da. And he was like, no, that's not the case. I just was listening to what everybody was saying. Da, 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 da. Anyway. And then Shelly brought up the heart rate challenge and stand on business challenge. And she was kind of sad that they got a lot of hate for that. She got a lot of hate for the heart rate challenge and the stand on business challenge. But we already know what happened in the heart rate challenge, which we'll be seeing tonight. We'll actually see the footage of the heart rate challenge, and then the stand on your business challenge. We already know what happened with that. But I just can't believe that she got so much hate for that and those two moments. But then they started joking or whatever. And then they were trying to say that they were joking about coordinating the connection to get on Love Island. Shelly and Ace. She was like, oh, we want to call the producers and let them know, before they even got on the show, this is, they were joking in the reunion here, saying, oh, we want to coordinate a connection together. And I think it'll be really, really cool. So they started laughing. Everybody started laughing, like, oh, connection, coordinate a connection, because everybody thought that they knew each other and they didn't. But anyway, I digress. And then they said that they're exclusive. And then guess what happened? Whew. Ace said that he is in love with Shelly. Lord God. Ace is in love with Shelly. He said it on the reunion on national television while we're watching now. He said that he's in love. He was like, are you in love with Shelly? That's what Andy said. Are you in love with Shelly? He said, yes, I'm in love with Shelly. And Shelly cheese so big. But anyway, another story for another day. So yes, he's in love with Shelly. They're kind of waiting they're exclusive, but they're kind of waiting to find the right moment, waiting on the right moment to be together, right? And then Alendra was saying that her and Nick are slow burners. And then she kind of touched on what, before Taylor apologized with the bland apology, she touched on that she don't understand, if he really wasn't attracted to her, he should have just told her, right? And she didn't want people to make it seem, she didn't want to make it seem like, oh, she was a desperate person. She was like, it never gave that. She was never desperate. They just didn't show specific things in the Love Island, the Love Island viewing, right? They only gave us snippets of like a 1 hour, 45 minutes, or whatever the case may be. And she said, if he wasn't attracted, he could have just told her that. And then that's when he gave the bland apology. And she was never desperate. So get that out your head. She said it herself that she was never desperate, and that was never the case. Alandria. So that's what's happening right now. So now, if somebody can put in the notes, if you can hear me, that would be great. And then we're going to continue watching. We're going to continue to watch. Let's go ahead and get this started. This is another portion. So they already talked to majority of the people. They talked to Landria and Nick about the pressure, Huda and Chris act like he don't want to be there. Clark and Taylor, but they didn't talk about how he's treating her online. Shelly and Ace, how they got a lot of flack, and for him being the villain. Da, 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 da. And then Alandria not being desperate, and then so forth and so on. So we're gonna do the rest of this here. Let me go ahead and press play, and hope you guys enjoy. Let me know if you can hear. Can you hear?
Olive Garden's Never
wait.
Impossible is back. So first round.
That is a commercial. I sure don't like them commercials, but that's what we're gonna watch right now. It's a commercial. Yep, you'll be able to hear once I press play. If somebody can put that in the notes, that would be great. Oh, there go another commercial. They always play commercials and you can't skip them. So Damn, I hope I ain't going through this live. Okay, give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Okay. Can everybody hear me? This is interesting. Okay. Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Okay. So we just got done with the other half. The people that just came out now was, who was that just came out? That was, okay, so who just came out? Oh, okay. So basically, they came out with was it Alandria? No, that wasn't Alandria. So it was the Casa Amor people that came, right? Out at this point. Casa Amor people at this point. And Austin is single. Andy asked about his body count. He said it was lower, which I don't really care about Austin like that. Most of the people from Casa Amor were saying that they were happy to be at Love Island because, they're bringing people out kind of like in groups. And then let's see what happened. Oh, okay. I lost my train of thought. Okay. So Adrian and TJ, Adrian and TJ were there. Let's see what happened. Zach K was on the video, which is the Chinese kind of Asian guy or whatever. He was on a video kind of like apologizing to Brian because some posts went online indicating that maybe Brian was there just for money. And he said, yeah, Brian was like, yeah, you need to go handle that. So Brian was kind of a little frustrated with Zach K. I believe that was Zach K. And he was like, yeah, you need to go handle that because everybody was saying that Zach K was there for the money because he didn't want to talk to any of the other girls or whatever that meant. He just wanted to talk to all the boys. And then Maya chimed in and said, yeah, it just kind of seemed like Andy asked Zach K, was he the one when Amaya was given a lot of attention from the world or whatever, she was like the most loved or whatever. Zach K kind of changed his tune and started acting a little different to kind of shift energy towards Amaya or whatever. And then I don't even think I got a picture of him. So yeah, Zach K was like, no, that wasn't the case. And he apologized to Brian and Amaya if he came off the way that he wasn't trying to intend it to be. As far as telling, on social media that Brian was in it for money when Zach K was really the one that was in it for money. He was telling all the boys, yeah, I don't really want to talk to the girls. He just want the money, basically in a nutshell. And then they asked, Alandria kind of spoke up and said something about Huda giving in to the bullying narrative, because there's a bully narrative going around with Shelly and Alandria
And then Coco was kind of feeding into the Alandria and Shelly bullying as well. So they actually Andy asked Coco, why was she trying to be shady to Alandria? And she was saying that when Alandria came to Casa Amor, she was kind of being standoffish. Well, we already know why. She didn't really want to probably get to know the other girls because she was already in a doozy from Taylor's old stinking bud. But anyway, and Alandria was like, yeah, she was a little standoffish, a little bit, because she didn't want to be fake around the new girls, and she just got dumped, right? And then so Coco tried to explain herself a couple times, trying to say that she wasn't feeding into the narrative when she went on to that live stream, or she went on in public talking about on some podcasts talking about Alandria, but she was saying good things about Alandria on the podcast. Coco was, but Alandria didn't feel that way. And then Alandria was like, yeah, if you're gonna speak about her, you need to speak about her true character and what she actually felt in the villa. That's what Alandria told to Coco. And Alandria was saying that she was feeding into that mean girl narrative, so forth and so on. And then she was trying to ride the hate train. And then she had to explain to her, no, she wasn't Coco was explaining to Alandria that she wasn't trying to ride the hate train, and she wasn't trying to be team shady, and she really wanted her to know that wasn't her intention. And then Alandria was like, well, yeah, you went onto the podcast and told people something that was out of her character. But if we're going to clear it up now, let's not do it in private. Let's do it now. And so that they kind of went back and forth. And then Shelly said something about Vanna. What's that girl name? Vanna, the Caucasian lady who has like the plastic surgery or whatever. Vanna. Yeah, that exactly. Yeah, it's rude how they act. Yes, that is so true. Yeah, it's rude how they act like Sierra was never there. That's true. But they did at the beginning of the session said that Sierra will not be able to be there because of the, we'll just say, racist stuff that she was saying. And she probably didn't know of at the time when she was younger, and now she's older and she's probably learning from it, right? With Sierra. But then Coco, tried to explain to Alandria, that wasn't the case, this and this and that. And then Vanna, Shelly called out Vanna because Vanna went on Nick Viles'